They sealed it with stone, guarded it with soldiers, buried him with shame. But the tomb didn't hold. It couldn't. Because death met its match, not in a metaphor, not in a movement, but in a man who said, "I am the resurrection and the life." That tomb is empty, and that changes everything. This isn't a poetic flourish or a religious tradition. It's a historical rupture. The resurrection of Jesus Christ is the most audacious claim ever made, that a crucified man walked out of his grave, bodily, visibly, and victoriously. No founder of any faith, no prophet, no philosopher has ever dared to stake their credibility on an empty tomb. But Jesus did, and he backed it up. Before the cross, he predicted it. During the cross, he absorbed it. After the cross, he reversed it. The stone didn't roll away so he could escape. It rolled so we could enter and see. He's not here. He is risen. This moment isn't just the climax of a story. It's the cornerstone of a kingdom. The resurrection isn't a footnote to the gospel. It's the foundation. It means sin has been paid for, death has been defeated, and hope is no longer wishful thinking. It's anchored in an empty grave. So when we say that tomb is empty, we're not whispering a religious slogan. We're declaring war on despair. We're announcing that the blueprint of death has been shattered. And we're inviting every listener to step into resurrection reality, where Jesus doesn't just forgive, he lives. A young woman said that if there was proof, she would get saved and believe. Response to "I need proof. You ever heard of the Titanic?" She says yes. Did you see it? Were you on it? She says no. Yet you believe it sank. Why? Because the evidence is overwhelming. Eyewitness accounts, wreckage, history recorded. You didn't have to be there to know it happened. Now let me tell you about another event, one with even more witnesses, more documentation, and more impact. The resurrection of Jesus Christ. Over 500 people saw him alive after death. The tomb was known, guarded, and found empty. The disciples didn't die for a metaphor. They died because they saw him risen. And the movement didn't fade, it exploded. You don't have to see the shipwreck to believe the Titanic sank. And you don't have to stand at the tomb to know it's empty. The evidence speaks. The Spirit confirms. And the risen Christ still changes lives today, including mine. You want proof? Let's talk Titanic. Most people believe the Titanic sank. They've never touched the hull, never dove to the wreckage, never interviewed a survivor. But they believe because the evidence is layered. Eyewitness accounts, historical records, physical remains. Now, let's talk resurrection. The tomb was public. The death was verified. The body was gone. And over 500 eyewitnesses saw Jesus alive after death. The disciples didn't die for a metaphor. They died for a risen man they ate with, walked with, and touched. That's not blind faith. That's anchored belief. But here's the kicker. Even if you could dive to the Titanic, it wouldn't change the fact that it sank. And even if you could stand at the empty tomb, it wouldn't change the fact that he rose. The wreckage proves tragedy. The empty tomb proves triumph. So the real question isn't, where's the proof? It's, what will you do with it? Yes, tongues is for a sign, and that phrase comes straight from Paul in 1 Corinthians 14 verse 22. Not just noise. Tongues isn't random speech. It's a supernatural marker, a signpost, a divine interruption. Tongues isn't proof of maturity, it's a gift. And like any tool, it must be used with wisdom. Paul cautioned the Corinthians not to elevate the sign above the structure. The Spirit gives gifts, but the goal is edification, clarity, and order. Acts 2. Tongues as a sign to others. This was horizontal communication. One person speaking, others hearing in their own languages. It was supernatural translation, proof that God was breaking through cultural barriers. Each one heard them speaking in his own language. Acts 2 verse 6. 1 Corinthians 14, tongues as a mystery to God. This is vertical communication. Paul says, "He who speaks in a tongue speaks not to men but to God. No one understands him." So there are different gifts, and they're still in operation today. Don't let the devil keep you from God's plan. Just ask him to show you.